Oh, hi there, everybody. Um, as in Science Today, we are looking at astronauts currently that live on the International Space Station, and we are looking at what it takes to become an astronaut. We're going to talk a little bit through this um, presentation here, and there's even a quiz, okay, that is kind of like a bit of a test as to whether you'd make a good astronaut or not. Okay, because we're going to be applying for a position on the International Space Station. We're going to be sending out an application, okay, to try and be allowed to go on there. So we need, if we're going to make a good application for an astronaut, we need to know the qualities of what makes a good astronaut, okay, of things that you'd be good at in order to make it as an astronaut. Okay, and so we're going to talk through this PowerPoint, and it says becoming an astronaut. Okay, the first British astronaut in space for over 20 years. So there's a very famous British astronaut, and he's called Tim Peake, and he made history when he spent 186 days on the International Space Station between 15th of December 2015 and 18th of June 2016. Okay, so a little while ago, he was on there for a very long time, 186 days in space. He became the first British astronaut in space for over 20 years. Okay, so a famous British person went up to space. But he's asking, do you have what it takes to be an astronaut? Okay, these are questions all made up by him. Okay, a new era of space travel is dawning, and the world's space agencies will need willing volunteers to train as astronauts and fly to new missions. Plans include a manned mission to Mars, a return to the Moon, and a manned mission to visit an asteroid. Answer the scenario-based questions on the following slides to see whether you may have the qualities to make a good astronaut. So we're going to see if you'd be a great astronaut. Be as honest as you can. Okay, number one. You are playing football and you have made a good run towards a goal with the ball at your feet. You have the keeper to beat and you think you could score, but you also have a teammate with you across the pitch who would have an open goal if you pass the ball. What would you do? A. Spend so long thinking about it that the defender catches up with you and tackles you. B. Pass the ball to a teammate. C. Try to finish the move started by scoring yourself. D. Bend down and pick the ball up. Which one are you going for? If you said spend so long thinking about it that the defender catches you, and tackles you, you get no points. An astronaut will need to be decisive and possibly make good decisions in time-pressured situations. If you said bend down and pick the ball up, you get no points. Space agencies require high levels of intelligence in their astronauts. This would not be a clever thing to do. Try and finish the move by scoring yourself, you get 1 point. So you get credit for confidence in your own ability, which is a useful attribute for astronauts, but your choice showed you put personal glory ahead of team success. But pass the ball to a teammate, you get 3 points. Astronauts need to be team players, and this was the best decision to ensure success for the team. Number 2. You are in the middle of a long and boring car journey with your family, and you are beginning to feel uncomfortable and irritable. What do you do? Okay. A. See if you can annoy your brother or sister by imitating everything they say. B. Repeatedly ask the adults, are we nearly there? C. Try to find an imaginative way to entertain yourself and others. D. Look out of the window and carefully observe the surroundings, trying to notice anything interesting. Which one would you pick? I'll give you 10 seconds to have a think. Okay, if you chose, see if you can annoy your brother and sister by imitating everything they say. You get no points. Astronauts need to find ways of getting on with near strangers in small spaces over long periods of time. Repeatedly ask adults, are we nearly there? 0 points. In space, the distances are huge and travelling times are far in excess of anything on Earth. 2 points if you said, try to find an imaginative way to entertain yourself and others. At times, astronauts may need to find fun in the situation to beat boredom. Okay? And the last one, look out of the window and carefully observe the surroundings, trying to notice anything interesting, is the best answer. Astronauts need to have real curiosity and desire to find out about new and interesting things. They should already take an interest in the world. 3. You go camping, and one night your tent starts to feel unstable in very high winds. It is flapping wildly and looking like it might blow away. What do you do? A. Roll over and try to get back to sleep. B. Get outside and try and figure out a way to strengthen the tent and windproof it. C. Sob, wail, and scream in fear. Or D. Leave the tent to its fate, get in the car, and sleep there. Have a think. 10 seconds. Okay. If you said roll over and try to get back to sleep, you get no points. You would not be able to ignore threatening situations as an astronaut. You need to prepare to take some kind of action. If you sob, wail, and scream in fear, no, that will not achieve anything. No points there. Leave the tent to its fate, get in the car and sleep there. 1 point. At least you may survive the night safely, but abandoning equipment would be a last resort. Okay? Because you have to preserve your resources when you're in space. If you said B, get outside and try and figure out a way to strengthen the tent and windproof it, 3 points. As an astronaut, you need to be ready to solve problems using common sense and ingenuity. 4. You are at an activity centre and your group has climbed a very tall tower in order to complete a zip wire run. One member of your group has suddenly felt frightened at the height and has hunched in the corner of the tower, sobbing and shaking. What would you do? A. Tell them to get up and be quiet. They are ruining the fun for you. B. Report the situation to the nearest adult and then carry on with what you were doing. C. Take responsibility for helping the person. Explain that everybody feels a bit scared and offer to hold their hand and look after them. Or D. Smile sympathetically and wait for somebody else to deal with the problem. Okay, I'll give you another 10 seconds. What would you do? Okay. If you said, tell them to get up and be quiet, they are ruining the fun for you, no points. You need to be a successful astronaut, you would need to consider others as well as yourself. If you smile sympathetically and wait for someone else to deal with the problem, no, that would not help the situation at all. So that was no points for that one. B, report the situation to the nearest adult and then carry on with what you were doing. You probably get a point. Yes, 1 point. Taking this course of action will at least ensure that something gets done. However, I think the best answer is C, taking responsibility for helping the person. An astronaut needs to be responsible. He needs to be able to take responsibility for these situations. Okay? And that makes you a good astronaut. Number 5. You are running in a cross-country race that goes on much longer than you expected, and your tired body wants to stop and walk. What do you do? A. Stop. It's important to listen to signals from your body. B. Have a little walk, but promise yourself you will start to run again as soon as you can. C. Slow down and see how long you can ignore your body and keep going. D. Keep your mind firmly focused on the finish line and how good you will feel when you get there. Keep running in the knowledge that you are getting closer all the time. Now this one's a little bit trickier, I think. I'll give you 12 seconds this time to think about what you are going to choose. Okay, if you said stop, it's important to listen to signals from your body, you get 0 points. While this may be true, astronauts need more of a willingness to push themselves to their limits. Okay, have a little walk, but promise yourself you will start to run again as soon as you can. You get 1 point. This strategy gets some credit as you are finding a way to continue. Then C, slow down and see how long you can ignore your body. 2 points. Choosing this option shows that you have a desire to do your best even when things are tough. And D, keep your mind firmly on the finish line and knowing you'll get closer all the time. This type of positive thinking and determination is exactly what is needed in an astronaut. Number 6, you are doing a science experiment. Which of the following would best describe your notes? Notes? What notes? Okay, that's the first one. Be neatly organised and carefully presented. C. Half finished and scribbly with water and ink blotches. D. Clear and complete, but with jottings about further investigations and extra observations. Give you 10 seconds to work that one out. Okay. Notes? What notes? No, you need to make notes. It's important. Performing scientific experiments is an important skill for astronauts. B. Neatly organized and carefully presented. Yay, 2 points. This is important to ensure that the results of an experiment can be properly interpreted. C. Half finished and scribbly with water and ink blotches. No, half finished notes are of no scientific value. D. Clear and complete with the jottings about further investigations and extra observations. Perfect. A combination of curiosity, creativity, and carefulness is perfect for a potential astronaut. Now you need to work out how well you did. If you get 0 to 5, if you get 0 to 5, grounded. Astronaut might not be the right job, but there's plenty of time to get better and change that. If you got 5 to 10, launching. You have the potential to be a good astronaut and you have time to become an even better candidate. And if you got 15 plus, flying. Keep doing what you're doing. You have a one-way ticket to the stars. And these are all the things that you need to do to become an astronaut, okay, according to NASA, which is the National American Space Agency. You need a university degree in engineering, science, or maths. You need a master's, maybe. You need 1,000 hours of commanding experience of a commanding jet aircraft. Okay, and then at least 3 years of responsible work in a profession, including teachers. Well, Mr. Denham might be able to become a NASA astronaut soon. Pass demanding physical tests. Okay, maybe not. Mr. Denham might not be able to become a NASA astronaut. And group skill tests, interviews, and medical examinations too. So there's a lot of things you have to do. Good luck and reach for the stars. And now you can check out some of the videos also on some of the astronauts in space and some of the things they do up there. And then you can start looking at your application to NASA and what are the kind of things you would write if you were applying to NASA for a job as an astronaut. Okay? Hope you enjoyed that quiz, and I look forward to seeing your applications.